My name is Annie. I practice as the Fandangoe Kid. I studied graphic design at LCC over 10 years ago now, and I now work freelance for myself, doing public art installations mostly. There's always been a real interest in narrative and storytelling. My mum was bilingual and my sister was Italian, so we grew up in that house of languages and stories being told. In my early 20s I was collecting all these bits of packaging and was obsessed with typography. Everywhere I was living as a young woman or a student was just the walls were just paper with typography. When I had a period of doing some teaching and working with young people, I really just thought, a lot of what I'm talking about is quite challenging, quite complex and quite taboo in terms of initially grief and trauma and mental health and stuff, and I was like, these are the people that I want to see this the most. These are the people that could really benefit from this on some level, and so I want to put that in the public sphere. Also, it should be in the public sphere because it's been wrapped up in taboo for so long. It needs to be talked about. When I experienced the loss of my family, at that time there was no platform for people to kind of talk about grief and associated kind of mental health stuff and trauma, and so that was kind of my remit and still is, in terms of having this broad platform for public dialogue around things that are sensitive and painful and complex and nuanced. I think we build a stronger kind of community when we start to be open and honest about things, because we realise that there are so many points that we actually share with each other. LCC contacted me to create some artwork for the outside of the building, kind of to celebrate the 125-year anniversary, and they wanted something which was kind of commemorative in terms of the creative contribution to the London kind of art scene, and because I was a student at LCC, I think the fit was a good one. The way that I work is always through engagement with the community that are involved in the public art work. In this instance, it was about meeting local people, but also talking with students, and we ran a couple of workshops where anyone could show up. So the workshops were really interesting. They're always one of the kind of most interesting parts of any installation for me, because it's the kind of the research phase and the kind of gathering of information and the building of a narrative. I wanted to make a comment around creativity, actually. My experience of grief and loss and trauma, one of the sort of most focal things for me has been creating and working and pushing through that and trying to sort of resolve and understand through making. So it says creativity will save our souls on one side, and then it says open minds change lives. It's good to see the vibrant colours, particularly on a grey elephant and castle day, and I think it's nice to sort of see it in the context of a place that is that has so much creative momentum. It was a real kind of honour to be asked to make a piece of work that will be here for a good few years, and I have quite sort of strong views about how the era is changing and about creativity in general, and it's really nice to put something in place that hopefully embodies those complex thoughts. In the political chaos that we're in, I really believe that the way out of it is through broader creative thinking and open minds, and really staying open and really working hard to stay open in terms of your viewpoints and your ways of thinking, practically, mentally, philosophically, intellectually. It's essential. We seem to be going into a kind of vortex where things are just sort of shutting down and becoming more and more narrow, and this is really about kind of saying no, keep open.